Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back with some postseason Club Condo. It's a Memorial Day special with a guy who is always making special memories with us. It's Chappell. Chappell, how are you?
Rob, I'm good. I'm also very surprised to see you here on your
Yes.
holiday. Yeah, it's Memorial Day.
Well, haven't served.
Yeah, well, I just felt like we were memorializing, being you. And so I felt like you would go take some time to go kick it with your family or something like that. Maybe
No,
go on a trip or something like that. See the
no.
world and then come back in a few weeks. I don't know.
Chappelle, how could I take a trip when there's so much exciting stuff to talk about?
Is there is there so much stuff
Well,
exciting
we
to
are
talk
all
about?
on pins and needles as we count down the days, as we are less than 48 hours away from learning the true identity of the Survivor 50 cast coming up on Wednesday morning around 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Chappelle, will you be setting an alarm clock?
No, what? I'm going to have the luxury of waking up and already having my notifications blowing up with the answers to the question that everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants to know, which is who is going to be on that cast. But will I be up watching it like it's the Oscars or Emmy announcements or whatever? No, because I don't be up watching those either. So you will I'm sure I will wake up to the moment everything is talked about,
Yeah.
when there's going to be a buzz. People are going to be so excited about this new cast. I can feel it, Rob.
Who are they going to hand it to? Nate Burleson? Are they going to hand
Yeah,
it to
Nasty
Gail
Nate.
King?
Yeah, kick it over to Gail King from space. Giving the rundown about like who is going to be on this. Do you think they actually watched the show? Do you think there's
No.
any world where Gail has seen more than the episode of Survivor where Joe comforts Eva?
No, I don't think so.
Me neither.
That's been everywhere. Like talking about like the Joe and Eva stuff. I watch a YouTube channel called Charisma on Command. Huge YouTube channel. They made a whole video about the Joe and Eva saga.
I'm at first I was like, okay, this is good. Then I was like, okay, y'all are overdoing it. Let's bring it back. And now I'm back around to like, no, this is good because I've been seeing a lot of the responses on the interweb since the finale, and people had really soured on Eva. They're like, okay, you got autism, but you still whining. It's like, all right, let's bring it back to like there was a very human moment that we all enjoyed about halfway through the season before the season started to stink. I like that better, and so yeah, I'm okay with that getting the props that it deserves, because who knows, we might see one of these people in the future. Maybe in a few seasons from now they might come back.
Yeah.
Be a great
Okay.
story to continue.
All right. Well, Chappelle, that's been the real chatter online is all about Survivor 50. Check out this from the CBS official Instagram account. It says, you've been telling us your theories. Curious how many of you are correct. Find out Wednesday, May 28th, when we reveal it all. And check this out. So who do you think will be on Survivor 50 of Survivor? And then they're showing all of the fan guesses that is on the audio of this. Everybody's different guesses of who's coming back. You got to find out. I saw a David Bloomberg tweet in there.
Yeah.
There you go. Find out Wednesday morning. I don't know. We got a ringing phone.
Did someone call you?
Who will answer the call is
Oh.
the answer.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that there are some people who are like, Survivor's calling, I ain't picking up, I'm too busy. Misty Giles is sitting at home thinking, Jeff, please, I told you once before, I'm not doing this season. Get off my back. I would
Do you
never
think
come
that they
back.
should reveal who did not answer the call?
Absolutely. I want to know every person who was sitting at home like, I'm too good for this. Albert. I know it was him. Yeah, I know Albert was like, Jeff, please. Chase Rice was like, you want me to leave my tour? Please. Again? Please.
Yeah.
No, I would love to know. And of course, we don't know yet. But I would love to know all the levels of the process. I want to know where it started, where it was going, and how we ended up where we're going to end up when the time comes. But right now we don't have it. We just have a lot of speculation, and the internet is a buzz.
A lot of smoke. We don't have any fire yet. But Chappell, from your vantage point of being a tapped-in insider, what's the word on the Survivor streets about the word leading up to the Survivor 50 reveal?
I felt like there was some good energy in the last few months, and people were really starting to ramp up that feeling of like, okay, y'all, look, yeah, there's a 49 coming, but we're really trying to get to the meat and potatoes. We're trying to get to 50. We've waited so long for this. A lot of us have been in the trenches for 25 years at this point. Some people just showed up in the new era and they got caught up. They did their homework and they're ready to see their faves come back. For some reason, in the last few days, Rob, things are just, it's taking a shift where people are like, you know what? Honestly, bring in 49. Bring in the Riz God, whoever that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if that's a thing? Let us have some of that. Because I don't know, Rob. It's getting kind of tense.
You're feeling that the vibe is feeling that people are really excited about Survivor 49 suddenly.
Suddenly, people care about Survivor 49. Suddenly, I think there's so much speculation around Survivor that I think that so many people are convinced that whatever Survivor does is going to leave them disappointed. Like there might be something that they do and they might say like, hey, where's Misty Giles? Like I saw that in one of those tweets or whatever. So I'm picking on her today. But yeah, like, where's this person? Where's Philip?
That was for real? That somebody said, where's Misty Giles?
Yeah. It was in the tweet, the little tweet montage. And I said, oh, her? Oh,
let me find Misty Giles and let her know.
Yeah, get on here for one of these old school interviews. But I think that, I think people are like now priming themselves to be potentially disappointed. But here's the thing. It's been 50 seasons, right? Survivor has...
Misty Giles was Parvati before Parvati.
That's what people have been saying. But no, y'all don't want to... Look, anyway, I'm out there with the Giles stands, okay? Like, bring back Giles. Bring back Giles. And the Sox and Sally, like all of them. Bring back all of those people. But anyway, here's the thing. They have 50 seasons. They have, several returning seasons or whatever, but they have 50 seasons to go off of, 48 that we have seen. So yeah, they're not going to mess this up, y'all. We have faith that they're going to go in and build the best of the best. But the internet is feeling kind of tense. It feels like we're on edge.
Yeah. Listen, to that I say, Chappell, let them cook. Okay. These people are professionals. They know what they're doing with unlimited time and unlimited resources. I think they got this.
See, I heard that they are naming Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans because what they really did was they went and they checked every tweet and every Reddit post and every Facebook, and they aggregated the data. They pulled the facts.
They
and the
listened
numbers.
to the fans.
They listened to the fans, and they said, okay, we're going to count up each of the fan cams that we find online. So for every time somebody stand, Purple Kelly or, somebody like that, they made a tally mark. They said, okay, bring back Purple Kelly. Got it. Bring back this person. Got it. Bring back, where's Shamar? Got it. And they made tallies. And this is just my theory, of course, allegedly. But they went in and they said, this is what the fans want. And now they're compiling a list with the raw data, the numbers, Rob, their numbers don't lie, so they're getting the numbers and they're going to give us the cast that we want based on the amount of stand support we've seen online. That's what I think.
Okay, maybe that could have been one way they went. I guess, we'll find out. We can keep going in circles. We'll find out for sure on Wednesday. RHAP coverage starts at 9 a.m. on assuming they're done revealing the cast by then.
It better not take an hour to reveal that cast. Like, excuse me. I think that people are ready. I think the people are ready to find out what this is. Rip the Band-Aid off.
How should they
Survivor.
do it? Well, how do you want to see them do it on Wednesday? Just go through the names. You want an urn? Did we have Jeff there?
An urn would be so cool if they brought out Jeff and he pulled the names. And
should we go back to Shannon Gus the bingo balls of all right, here we have another name. It's got.
Yeah. Look, they can make this entertaining. I don't think it needs to take an hour, but they can make it entertaining.
Misty Giles.
Boo, 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 boo. Yeah, and the Giles fans, and they're like, bring back Giles.
Cam.
Yeah. I think that they have the opportunity to make this really good and to give us a good cast and to give us a good reveal, and I'm sure they will. And so
I think they have a little showmanship with it.
I cannot wait to wake up. Because here's the thing. We've seen the Survivor social media really have showmanship in the last week. Yeah, they said we're gonna drop this cast Wednesday, next Wednesday, and we're like, oh, they're doing the thing, So it's like, you don't do that to us and then kind of show up and just swing and whiff. You gotta come in big. It's 50.
Okay, all right. So let's with that being in the backdrop, we still had our big Survivor 48 finale. Chappell, you and I have not gotten the chance to talk about the finale. Any thoughts that you had from the Survivor 48 final hours?
We team bubble butt out here, man. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, Kyle is the winner. This is crazy. I'm very excited for him. Very happy for him. It was a good win. People are talking about it as one of the best wins in the new era, and I'd say that based on what we saw, I would say that. Now, there's definitely some conflicting reports with some of the editing that we've seen. We've got a very heavy, Joe and Eva season to let us believe that maybe they would have a bigger role. Shaheen is really giving us from the jury box like, I was the biggest threat. I could have done it. We saw them telling Mitch, you're just too likable to make it to the end. We can't take you that far. So I feel like there's things we didn't really get to see too much of, but Kyle comes away with the crown this time. And it was a pretty solid victory. Not a lot of drama there in the Kyle department.
Yeah. I said this a few different ways, but it just feels like that there was like in this season, like following like the Joe and Eva moment when they had like so much goodwill from the cast. It's like, okay, these two are on a rocket ship. They're going to the end game. And then all these other folks were sort of like clamoring to be with them. Shaheen was with them from the jump. Kyle got on board. David got on board and just like, okay, well, now that they're very well insulated, they've got all the momentum. And then against this like hapless gang of people on the bottom who were never able to get it together, like they were unstoppable.
Yeah. Kyle rode them to the end like oxen.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened before in Survivor history where a duo has been very powerful and then someone's been able to kind of lead them to the end. They're going to the end. But to get on that train and say, all right, like, we got to make some stops first and take out other people who are going to stop me from getting there with you. It's a viable option as far as strategy goes. We see that it works. It's worked before in the past. If you want to talk about like maybe Denise and Malcolm and them hitching their ride onto Scoopin and Lisa Welchel, like it's happened before. And so I'm not mad at it. But yeah, the edit was really leading us to believe like, these two are powerhouses, and anybody who sits next to them will be crazy. In reality, it's just like, no, maybe not. Maybe that wouldn't be so crazy. I don't think the jury really thought too highly of Joe's strategic game based on the votes and all the questioning or not questioning at Tribal Council. And it looks like the same. You could say the same about Eva. And so in a season where people came in really talking about, we don't want more super fans, all these nerds who watch all the season, we don't have to backstab. We need an honor and integrity. I'm very happy to see that none of that stuff was rewarded and that these people were punished for their hubris and for their lack of game knowledge.
Okay. All right, Chappell. So one of the things that did come out, there was a little bit of discourse where Mitch did his exit press, came on with me. I was happy to get the chance to talk with Mitch, talk to all of the different interviewers. And there was a lot of questions for Mitch about, Mitch, why couldn't you make it work and go with the plan to go to Rocks at the final 8 when you said you did not want to work with Star? And so he was asked about that. What he explained was that he did have conversations with Star, but Star went back and told those conversations to Joe and Eva. And I hope that I am not mincing any words, but he said Star was not a joke, but the idea of that going with Star after she ended up ratting out the plan to Joe and Eva, who she also thought she was going to have a good shot to go to the end with, was a bad plan. And so Star responded to some of Mitch's exit press, not specifically my conversation with him. And here's some of what Star said.
Okay.
Star had said, the storyline is Star told, and then we have 5 crying, laughing emoji.
Okay.
That means I was telling everybody's business to everybody. Like, what sense does that make? It doesn't. But go off. I'm going to go dance on the beach, Survivor 48. Everybody can't put their poor gameplay all on me.
She seems to not co-sign this storyline that, Mitch came to her to make a move and she was not willing to make a move, or she was so messy that she went back and told them about the move. It's really hard to know. A lot of that was left out of the edit. We didn't really even get to see Star and Mitch talk too many times. The first time we really see them talk is, Mitch is like, I'm gonna teach her how to swim. Like that's the extent of the relationship that we really saw. And then we see them both, trying to lobby for votes and this, that, and other. So yeah, not a great spot in the Star and Mitch feud. Were there more tweets that came from Star? Because My girl likes to talk. She a yapper like me.
Yeah, I think that there was another tweet that may not no longer be up, and I just wanted to paraphrase that. I think Star also said like, why would, why would they why would they show the scene of Mitch teaching me how to swim, but not show the scene of me and Mitch talking about a final 3?
Oh, yeah. Now, can I talk to
here,
Real
actually,
Star?
no, I'm sorry. That was not that tweet as I'm trying to pull it up now. Star had a lot to say after the finale. Let me just.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, Star said, literally, no show of an interaction except at the end. If that were true, they would have had to show a final 3 conversation. So no, that didn't happen. Why would they show him teaching me how to swim and not show him talking about a final 3 with me? Let's make it make sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. So here's the thing. I love me some Star. I wanted to draft Star, even though I knew that would go poorly. Star, my sister, I gotta talk to you for a second. Star ass just be talking. And here's why. Star tweeted out, because I guess people had big questions about her vote in the final tribal council. She ends up voting for Eva, who we at home all know that Eva was not the biggest Star fan. She also got Star's idol only to go vote Star out, in that, and then to basically claim the idol as her own throughout the entire season before acknowledging Star at the very end. So we were like, hey, Star, what's up with this vote? And I think Star tweeted out something to the effect of like, well, who else was I supposed to vote for? As if there are not 2 other options sitting right there. As if Kyle is not a viable option for Star to vote for. So sometimes I'll be like, Star, what are you talking about? And I believe Say responded, girl, don't piss me off. That was the same energy I had. It was like, Star, don't act like Eva was the only option at that point. Like, stop it. Stop playing games. So I don't know. I don't know who to believe in the Star versus Mitch feud, but keep that going. Keep that going. I like that.
Star said, you wanted to work with me, but wrote my name down. The lies, gif.
Yeah, at that point. Yeah. It's tough. This is tough. They did these people so dirty in the edit. They really did. They did. We were all sitting at home watching the same show that they played the game of, and we were saying, why would you go anywhere near the end with Joe and Eva? They have all the things. They're winning all the challenges. They have all the trinkets. They have all the stuff. And all the confessionals we get are people just saying how loyal they want to be to that massive alliance, or to that big alliance, right? The alliance of like honor and integrity. And then when they get to the end, they're like, or Camilla could have beat everybody. I was like, oh, okay, well, damn, wish we could have saw some of that. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. The show really didn't do us any favors.
One last Star tweet. Whose Star is maybe taking the mantle from Say of carrying the postseason on her back. Here's Star says, I talk my poop emoji now. 100%. I'm not the one when you go low. I go to hell. You've been warned. Don't mess with the nice girl. We nice for a reason. You don't want no smoke. I'll snoop you with my lungs. I really don't give an AF. Stop trying, mama. Star, protect me. I protect me and mine, period.
Yeah. She said, hey, don't get it twisted. I ain't the 1 or the 2. All right.
Man.
If you take it low, I'm cooking it to hell. What did Philip say on Dondi's? So low that the Underground Railroad, so low that low? Yeah. Harriet Tubman couldn't find you so low. Star got time today. Very entertaining. Again, we didn't get a lot of Star on the television show, and I think we missed out on a lot.
Okay. All right. Chappell, this was something I noticed immediately when I watched the finale. Did you notice at the final tribal council that Mitch was wearing the very famous finger wag shirt to the final tribal council?
Hey, my boy said, nah. Hey, man. Rob, do you ever wear any of your Survivor clothes after you left the season? Had that been a thing?
I feel like that Steven Fishback does. I feel like I've seen him wear the shirt he wore to the final tribal council in Cambodia. But no. I mean,
it's been years.
Yeah, nothing that I had in Survivor the Amazon. I think I had the hat. But I ended up I was out so quickly in Survivor All Stars that I was able to use some of the stuff I had in Survivor All Stars after the fact.
Did you have a jury fit plan for when you were going to be on, because you famously said you didn't think you were going to win the Amazon when you went out there.
Mhm.
Like, did you ever think about getting the fits off? I know it was in the early days of Survivor, but to me, I feel like that's a very important part of the jury.
I had like a softball tee like a long sleeve like softball shirt that I had, and then at the final tribal council, I had like a black and gray version of it, which was similar to the one. So I guess I thought like, ooh, this is gonna be like the darker version of what I had in the game.
Yeah.
But that was about it. I didn't have anything like planned for Ponderosa or the jury.
If anybody is coming back for 50, they need to get these fits off. I'm not playing with y'all. This was so sad. There were so many things that bored me about season 48, and one of them was definitely the outfits we got from the jury. Every now and then, somebody would pop out with a little something. Mary and her green was like, okay, I see what you're doing there. Cedric, you dropped the ball. You disappointed me. I'm so sad. Chrissy, she had a couple moments. David, I think he put a real shirt on for the final tribal council, so I appreciated that from him. But it just wasn't giving me what I needed, y'all. The final tribal council and all tribal council leading up to that. If you're on the jury, that's your time to shine. All we gonna do is get cutaways to your reactions. The camera gonna be on you more during the jury segment than it was during the show a lot of times. So you gotta come with some fits. This is not good. Not good.
Chappell, let me give you some another clip from the exit press this week. Got one from Gordon Holmes. Got the chance to speak with Kyle, friend of the pod. And Gordon Holmes, of course, famously does the word association with the Survivor and guests that he has on the exit press. This is what Kyle had to say about Thomas in this exercise. Listen to this.
Thomas.
Hand job.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, what did I say? Sexy.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, not the sexy part. Like the sexy part, I understand. But like,
I'll give it to you again.
Thomas.
Yeah, do that again.
Hand job.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, what did I say? Sexy.
Shine. Thomas.
Gordon Holmes is gonna keep going.
What is that, Shaheen? Yeah, I would have been like, no, hold on. What do you mean by that? What are you trying to say? Thomas, you freaky frog. Kyle, what y'all been doing? Why? See, that's what I'm talking about. This is the type of entertaining stuff that they left out the show. We didn't know Kyle had
put in the edit.
We didn't know Kyle had a bubble butt. We didn't know that. I mean, I'm sure the keen-eyed viewers at home that were paying attention, but we didn't get none of that. We were talking about his wart on his finger when he had something else popping. Who knew? So yeah, I think they left out all the fun stuff. This hand job, we definitely need more information. If you were to do a deep dive with the winner, I feel like that is a question that you should lead with.
Lead with that?
I mean, word association. So it's like when you're like, okay, so you get swapped to the tribe with Thomas, hand job. And then just let them finish their sentence. Because at that point, because we all need to know. At that point, that's the number one question I have for Kyle. What?
Okay.
Hand job.
Chappell, did you happen to watch the Survivor 49 preview, or did you check out of the after show by then?
So I did go outside and take a walk during the fire making challenge. So it was actually very funny. I went outside to get some air, and then I got distracted. People know me. They know your boy got the ADHD. And if a shiny light goes by, I'm going to go follow that. And so it happened. And then I found this Korean barbecue spot. I promise you I'm going somewhere with this. I found the Korean barbecue spot and I went over there.
I'm with you.
But I could see Survivor playing through the building, the windows of the building that I was at prior across the street. So I'm like waiting on my food, but I'm also looking through the window to kind of see who's winning the fire making challenge. And I cannot tell at all. I just know it's lasting a very long time. And so I finally go inside. I have no clue who won, but everybody's talking to me about who won the fire maker challenge. And I'm just sitting there just, fresh off a walk, Korean barbecue in tow. And I'm just shaking my head like, oh yeah, that was great. That was a thing that happened. I'm sure things were great. And so I come in thinking that maybe I'd already okay, I've missed something significant. I was very quickly informed that I did not. And so, but at that point, I didn't want to miss anything else. So I sat there like a zombie stuck, some would say. And I was waiting on the 49, but it was kind of like a blur. Like I said, the walk took a toll on me. As my allergies were bad, and I had the Korean barbecue popping. So I did see parts of the 49 preview. I just don't really remember it.
Okay. Yeah, kind of got lost in the shuffle between the finale and then also Survivor 50 hype that's waiting. But that there is one contestant that has a name that has caught a lot of attention. You mentioned it already. There's a person named Rizgod that we met in the Survivor 49 preview. Here's Jelinski.
Listen, I never really give my full opinion on things, especially things that are related to Survivor. But I just finished watching the Survivor 49 trailer, and I just watched a young man refer to himself as the man, the myth, the legend, Rizgod. And now this is no disrespect to the Rizgod. I'm sure all of his friends call him that. But all Survivor fans know there is only one man, myth, legend who is also the monster. And his name is Jelinski. There's just no replacing that.
Okay. Are you ready for a Jelinski versus Rizgod sort of Redemption Island season?
Is that what Survivor 50 is? Are they going to put Jelinski and the Rizgod on Survivor 50?
Two giant heads of
Rizgod
and Jelinski? Who's the real man, myth, the legend?
Do you remember why Jelinski started going by the monster?
Remind me. I remember he said that
Jelinski is a legend.
Why was he the monster?
I don't know. I don't remember. That doesn't seem like it's canon for the show. What is he talking about? Jelinski, why are they calling you the monster?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Remember they used to talk about the game is the monster.
Right, but when did Jelinski become the monster? In what way?
I don't know if that was a preseason interview or if that was on the show.
No, I think that was after the fact. I think Jelinski, he's become the monster later on. I think they saw him on the beach and they said, "Oh yeah, that monster, working with a monster. That's him." I don't know. But why is he beefing with the Riz guy? Is this one of those things, Rob, where it's like the new hotness is coming in, so you got to make sure that they know that like there can't be two, right? Like Jelinski has to go ahead and assert his dominance right now, so Riz Lord doesn't come in and like ruin everything.
Riz God.
Yeah. That's what I said. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's another TikTok. This is from Coach posted this to social media this week. Coach appears to be on the fence about a decision.
Coach Benway, the Dragon Slayer, I just want to say this. Life is beautiful. And you've got to make sure that when you are presented with decisions and choices that you always go with that little bit of magic, right? That sixth sense, that gut that you have, you got to go with your gut. You got to know when to say no. You got to know when to say yes. You got to know when to persevere. You got to know when to call it quits.
Okay.
This man is a cartoon. I'm not even joking. Like, man, I've been on record. Coach is one of the best characters that Survivor has ever given. Because he's not acting. He is not acting. This is him. That man will look you dead in the eye and say one thing and do something completely different with no remorse. And there's no the light doesn't go off and say like, hey, you said a different thing. Like it doesn't even occur to him that that's not what he's did. Like that's just not how Coach gets down. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but I'm so fascinated that Coach of all people is weighing in on people's decision making. We've seen Coach say a lot of things that he will immediately go back on as if he did not say those things every time. He does it so much, so often. So I'm dying to find out what the hell Coach is talking about.
What is he trying to decide?
Right. Or who is he talking about? Like, oh yeah, sometimes you got to go with your gut, but other times, maybe don't. Maybe don't go with your gut. He said, you can do what's right, or you can do what's wrong if it has that magic. And he really said, you got to go with the magic. Like all logic could be telling you go this direction, but how you going to ignore the magic that's on that other side?
He's trying to say, sometimes you say yes, sometimes you say no, sometimes it's time to call it quits.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, you got to know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. Know when to walk away. Know when to run.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This is very cryptic. I don't know what he's talking about. Do you think he's giving a message to somebody who could potentially be on Survivor 50? Is he saying like, Boston Rob, sometimes you got to say enough is enough.
Say yes to the adventure. Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta say no. You gotta know when to take when to call it quits. Is it giving a message to like, hey, anybody who's played Survivor like 3 times, maybe 50 ain't for you. Maybe that's what he's saying.
Okay. All right. Then here's one from a friend of the pod, Owen Knight, posted this week. Okay. He said he posted this video and said, "This clip is so objectively funny that I don't even care anymore that it's one of the worst moments of my life." Okay.
The winner of Survivor 43, Gabler. That's 5. That's enough. Thank you. We have our winner.
Stand for Gabler.
Thank you. Thank you. Jury, come on over. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey man, I've told you the story about what my experience was with that finale. I've told you that before.
No. Yeah. You were at the Bryson Wen event, and you were like the show psychologist for everybody involved.
Yeah. So we're in LA, and there's like obviously there's a delay. See, and me not realizing that the West Coast doesn't actually watch the show at the same time as the East Coast. I didn't know it had already aired basically. So I'm walking around the finale, and prior to the results happening, it was so much fun. We were having such a good time. The 43 cast was there. Not Gabler. He was not there. But everybody else was there. And we were having a great time. We're walking around. I'm like seeing everybody take a shot. It's a good time. Bryson Wen event. If you've never been to one, make sure you check it out. And then something happened. It's kind of like this mood switch that happened in the last couple of days here in the Survivor community. It's just a very like sharp turn that happened where I was like, something ain't right. Because you know me, Rob. You see me at these events. I'm a lot of energy. I'm like, hey, what are we doing? And I saw there were people crying. And I was like, oh, you must be so happy for this final 3. Tears of joy. That's crazy. I saw a mirror from Big Brother there. I was like, why are you here? You know, like there was just several things that just were off. And then it's like, it felt like a zombie bite. Like people were like whispering, and then like the mood would just start changing around the room. And then, of course, me being me, several walks later, I was like, I don't know. Everybody seems kind of down on this. This is crazy. We're watching it, and I'm like, this is crazy. What a crazy result that happens. But the room was morbid, to say the least. It was dark in there, Rob. It was not fun. I had the time of my life, but a lot of people did not. That clip is hilarious because Owen and Cassidy were legitimately shocked. And Gabler stood up like, thank you. He knew. It was so solemn. Like, yes, exactly. No, you sit down. I applaud you. They were like, what is happening? So good. It's such a good clip. I will always say that that Owen, I love Owen. I love him so much, and I was really hoping that he had a better experience. But that clip is objectively hilarious. One of the funniest moments in Survivor history.
Okay. You know what? This was another season 50 clip that I should have played earlier in the podcast. Apologize about that. But let's bounce around a little bit. I want to go back to Survivor 50 stuff because I've got a clip for you from a Survivor alumni many people thought could have been in the mix for Survivor 50.
Okay.
Here we go. You know, and sometimes people like hear a name for a long time and they make a lot of assumptions. And so this might have been the case here with this woman. Remember Elizabeth Hasselbeck?
No.
Formerly Elizabeth Filarski?
Oh, yeah, I remember her. Yeah, from the early days, from the Australian outback.
Okay.
I believe.
Well, Elizabeth, okay, she posted to her Instagram this week an announcement about her involvement with Survivor 50. Check this out.
Fun summer updates so far. Okay, no, I'm not doing Survivor. That is funny though. I'm not doing that. I'm going to be back there with like snacks instead. So.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
I love that I'm not doing that. Like it's something about that, the word that. It's like, oh no, I'm not doing that shit. Like the shit is implied. Like, hey, bro, I'm not finna go do that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not even quite sure how they got her to do it the first time, but this time around, no, I'm not doing that. I make way too much money.
Yeah. So I honestly, I don't know what her how she currently is employed.
Grifter.
That what?
Nothing.
So I don't know what she's currently does for a living. but she didn't even make it sound like wow, Survivor 50. That would be cool. It'd be an honor.
Amazing
not
opportunity.
at my point in my life. She's like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm telling you, shit is implied. I ain't doing that. Is what she said. Like she basically said, "Well, get the fuck out my." It's like she's like, summer updates. Not doing that.
Yeah,
you
here
ready?
you go.
Fun summer updates so far. Okay, no, I'm not doing Survivor. That is funny though. I'm not doing that.
No,
I'm gonna be back
not doing
there with like snacks.
Fun summer updates. Survivor 50. I'm not doing that.
Somebody tell her that it's roughly 2 weeks and she might reconsider. I think she thinks it's still Survivor, like back when she did it.
Yeah, when she went for she went 39 days and didn't even get to the final 3, I think.
And they damn near drowned. In that, they were out there in the trenches. Okay,
Yeah.
and
I love this clip.
Fun summer updates so far.
So far.
Okay, no, I'm not doing Survivor. That is funny though. I'm not doing that.
I'm dying to know, what were the rest of the fun summer updates?
she does end up going to say something in the longer version of the clip. I did see that before.
Yeah.
But she does reiterate, I will not be in Fiji. I am not doing Survivors. Like she makes sure to make, like she doubles down. If this is a rumor, it is a funny rumor, but but y'all made that shit up. Like she basically said that's a joke. Like don't play with me.
Mm-hmm. But there was so much smoke about that. You don't think that they were in conversations?
But that's the thing. No, I don't. Now after this reaction, like maybe there was a conversation where she was like, I need X amount of dollars. And they were like, we're not going to pay you that much money. She said, then I'm not doing that. Like,
yeah.
I got snacks in the back. Actually, I cannot be bothered. That's the energy it's giving.
Yeah, I do. I wonder maybe if there might have been a conversation and then there was not an agreement that could have been reached together.
But in my mind, Rob, Survivor 50 is in the hands of the fans. I just want to know which fans made you feel like that this could have been where we need to go with Survivor 50. Which fans were like,
I think we're going to disagree on this one because I would have liked to have seen it. I thought that would have been an exciting thing to have.
Based on the riveting gameplay from her first time around?
I mean, I think that based off of some of the things we're hearing, I don't think we're necessarily stuck to gameplay in terms of I don't think we're necessarily trying to look at maybe the best whatever amount of best game players ever. But I think that somebody who
character moments.
Somebody who really had maybe the most successful career outside the show, if not one of the top 4 people to possibly bring them back at a point when you're trying to get as much attention as possible. I think that would have been stuff that would melt my brain to try to imagine what that would look like. And I think that that's very interesting.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. If you are looking for clicks and likes and engagement, you want people to tune in that haven't tuned in a while, you need big names to bring people back to Survivor. Yeah. I'm sure she's top 7.
I think she's somebody who I never could have ever imagined even being associated with the show in some capacity. I think her, Colleen, there's maybe like a handful of other people that have just gone, like Chase Rice, I think would be in that category of people that they did Survivor and then it would be really absurd to see them back in Survivor. And I think that that would be very interesting.
I think that absurd is the word that I was looking for as well. I think that it would have been absurd, and absurdity will get your attention because I think that, and look, Survivor 50 they still have the opportunity to be absurd, Rob. They still could do that, but I do think that Elizabeth Hasselbeck, like you said, Chase Rice, these big names, Jimmy Johnson, 81-year-old Jimmy Johnson, if they did something like that, I think people are going to tune in worldwide.
And also that based off of Elizabeth's career on The View, we know that she is not averse to conflict and conflict on television. And that's not really a big part of the show where it stands right now. But couldn't you imagine a scenario where she, adult Elizabeth Hasselbeck, which that 20, I don't know, she was 23, 24-year-old Elizabeth Hasselbeck. I mean, she truly was America's sweetheart. She embodied everything that was, pure. And I this is something I've talked about a lot, where I look at Survivor characters and there's like a polarity there, where because of like, and there was the double polarity in Survivor or the Australian Outback of both Elizabeth and Tina. Wholesome, pure, like nothing, like they are like the idealized version of, at that point in time, I think, what society expected out of a woman. Okay, if I may be so bold to say that. And then by contrast, you had Jerry, who was a little bit more of the antithesis of that. And just that comparison made Elizabeth and Tina more wholesome and made Jerry more, the devil, so I think that adult Elizabeth Hasselbeck, certainly not afraid to ruffle a few feathers and mix it up, could certainly see her getting, especially under the conditions, getting into some dust ups with some of the other players, and maybe not so much giving a what.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there is a potential for some conflict there, but I do think that they also have to leave like the room for, she could just quit. She could literally just be like, I'm going home. Very,
totally realistic possibility that could happen.
Did you hear how she said, like, I'm not doing that? Like, she's looking for a reason
like,
to quit.
All right, first, we're going to get birthed into the game in the mud.
Survivor. That is funny, though. I'm not doing that.
Rob, that has to make its way on the soundboard.
You know what? We don't have a lot of things in modern day that belong in the soundboard, but
that's one of them ones. That's hilarious. That's funny. Not doing that. That's funny. Funny joke. Not doing that. Woo,
yeah.
My energy.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Chicken and waffles. Let's hear you guys say it.
I'm not doing that.
Come on.
Not doing that. That's hilarious. Not doing that. Funny joke. Not doing that.
Yeah.
All
right.
Woo, she might have won with that one. I'll give her something every now and then.
I'm not doing that.
Okay. And she's just like so dismissive. Like doesn't even look at the camera when she says that. She's gonna be out by the pool with snacks.
And I'm sure they will find other people who kind of echo Elizabeth Hasselbeck's sentiments to represent the portion of the the population that really enjoys that type of energy. I'm sure they can go and get some of those people for Survivor 50.
And I understand. Okay, I don't want to. If I'm not already canceled, okay.
I canceled too.
That there's a portion of the Survivor viewers who's like, I don't want to watch her. I don't agree with her politics. I don't agree. And again, I don't have a list in front of me of everything she's ever said. So who knows? You don't.
I'm prepared to document.
No, you don't.
Well, not everything that she's ever said, but I got like top 15.
So, but I totally get that. But she's not going to be out on Survivor. Like what you're going to watch on Survivor is not going to be okay. Like that's not going to be what's on the show.
Right. I just feel like it's been done better. Like we have that. Like she was like the archetype for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen other versions. That's all I will say.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Fingers crossed. But I do think that's hilarious. Owen had another funny TikTok too. I think he called Xander his thought daughter. There's a lot going on.
Thought daughter. Yeah, I've got another Owen tweet. Owen is posting everywhere this week. Owen is Owen might be the MVP of Club Condo here for the postseason.
I love him.
Okay, we sell. This is. Let me see if I can share this one. Got another Owen Knight post where Owen said, "I spent half of 48 thinking I was spoiled on the winner, Cedric. A lot of the cast was in New Orleans for Stephanie's premiere, and Cedric was in a nice hotel. Overheard someone said if I had won, I would have stayed there. Based on the inflection, I thought Cedric won and was very confused by this edit."
Yeah, I'd have been very confused as well. I'd have been shocked. Like, oh, this is such a weird. And he's getting voted out. When are they going to bring in Edge of Extinction? Like, I would have felt the exact same way. Yeah, Cedric as a winner. That'd have been a crazy thing to see. Cedric voted for Joe. He said, he's a dad. Like what you said about dads. That's cool.
that was another chance to write a new name down.
He done it. He's done so many names he wrote down. Add Joe to the list. Somebody had to write Joe's name down. Were you surprised that Joe only got one?
I really
jury
was
vote?
after that edit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Could Joe have won this season?
Perhaps there is a thing he could have said at the Final Tribal Council, but I think that Joe would cease to be Joe. It's like, if my cat had wings, it would be a bird. I don't know what the expression is, but that's not who he is. Like there like somebody could have quantum leaped into his body, I think, and have given a Final Tribal Council speech that could have done it, but that's not who Joe was.
Yeah, I just want to know if there's like a world where he could have like actually got the votes, being who he is. And I agree, Rob. I don't think it's there. They talked about on the jury how like, if Camilla had made it to the end, then there's a possibility that she would have won, right, against anybody. Star said it, so grain of salt. And so because Star also said, well, who else was I gonna vote for? So I don't know, but I could see a world where Camilla, Kyle, and Eva are at the end, and Camilla possibly wins that. I could see Mitch, Eva, and Kyle being at the end, and Kyle would win that, but Eva would be a close second. But like, I don't know what iteration of this Joe ends up winning. I think he loses. Like, I think it's the final five. Like,
Maybe
I don't
he had to
know
go with David. Maybe David was like that was the big mistake for him voting out David.
Right, or maybe like deep down they all hated Shaheen or something like that. We never saw it. Joe maybe taking Mitch and I don't know, Mary. Maybe you could have done something with that. I'm just saying. Tough call to say I'm going to go to the end with somebody who can beat you, and he decided to go to the end with somebody who could beat him at a very early stage.
Chappell, this came across my desk this week. This is from a person on TikTok. Actually, the first person to show this to me actually was my wife, and I'm not sure if she follows this TikTok account, but let me share this with you. This is from a man who has been going back and watching old seasons of Survivor for the first time and then posting about them on TikTok. His name is Tony Squares. Tony has a decent TikTok following, 25,000 followers. But apparently he's got some folks following what's going on with his Survivor takes. Okay. So here is a little bit of Tony Squares talking about Survivor the Amazon.
Horniest man in the history of Survivor. This is the horniest man in the history of Survivor. My name's Tony Squares, and I'm watching every single season of Survivor leading up to Survivor 50. Today it's season 6, The Amazon, Battle of the Sexes.
Should I respond to the horniest man?
Give me a top 5.
Well, some of them are redacted.
Yeah, we can't talk about some of them because they did some weird stuff.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think you win based on that.
I don't think so. Come on.
Based on that alone, I think you win.
Come on.
Maybe
it was
confessional
time.
per.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that got you on this list in the first place. Don't call it that.
Okay.
That's how you ended up here in the first place.
All right.
They split up the men and the women, leaving this hornball to wonder, what are the women thinking of him?
Maybe some girls out there in the other tribe want to get with me.
This man doesn't...
Maybe? What would that be so crazy?
Why you can't say maybe? You can't leave that out in the open for people to just decide. You didn't say, I know they want to get with me. They ready.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about my feelings.
Right. I'm sorry. I have high self-esteem. Also, you're giving Dreamboat in this picture. Like, look at you, Rob. That's like 90s fine. Okay, I see you, boy.
Yeah.
Shut up for 16 hours of television, saying some things that don't stand the test of time.
When you're a guy that looks like me, I realize that the only chance I have with either of those two girls is if they get really drunk.
And all of it leads back.
Now, look, the effects of alcohol are well documented.
Right. Look, the goggles. You put some beer goggles on, and you might start to just be a little bit looser about how you feel about somebody. You're not saying like I'm going to take advantage of them. Said they might decide, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Like, oh, sorry. I'm sorry. They're making poor decisions. I
believe there's a movie where it says I can be that mistake. Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That
Okay.
happens. That's part of human nature. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Chappell, have you ever done anything that you regretted after the effects of alcohol?
I would have to drink to do that, and you know I don't do that.
That's
so
true. That's
but-
true.
Excuse
Okay.
me?
Back to him acting like a teenager who just got his first hard on.
She is so hot. She could put Viagra out of business.
This
Now,
is
truth
still
be
a good
told, he
line.
was-
Is Viagra even in business? I mean, I
think
know
so.
they make. I know they
Yeah.
look. I know they make money. But you remember, Viagra used to be a thing. It was the hot topic on the streets back then. You made
Yeah.
a topical reference.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. This is not admissible.
I think they have a lot of competitors from what I see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It used to be like the new
As
hit
a
thing to talk
man
about.
in my 40s, I can tell you I am heavily targeted by multiple sponsors. Not
I'm
because
sure
I
your
have a
algorithm is
podcast. I think
cooked.
because I'm
Yeah.
alive.
Your algorithm is cooked.
Yeah, I can't go on Facebook
No.
without a lot of different medication companies are targeting your boy.
Right. Look, Viagra ain't going nowhere. But what I'm just saying is that back then it was a topical reference that you made. It wasn't like, what is this wonder drug he's speaking of? People knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Was a major player, lasting all the way to the end, forming alliances with everybody, backstabbing everybody. Fantastic
Yes.
Survivor early season player, but dude, chill
Yeah.
out.
To be in such close contact with this girl and not have to have a handful of singles.
So unsurprisingly,
Wait, who were
I
you
didn't even
calling a
remember
stripper?
saying that.
Wait, I
I
don't
don't
even remember that
saying
one.
that.
I've seen that episode so
Yeah.
many times.
I think they put that in. I think that was a
Also,
deep fake.
This
Yeah.
confessional cam is crazy. Why the hell is it that close to your face? It's
I
were
had been
laying
drinking
next to a
that day.
log.
That was the day that they had we'd finished off the beers that they got with the merge feast.
Drunk Rob is like a top 5 character in general because Drunk
Mhm.
Rob will go on to say, I wish I had some singles for this woman. And then to go up to her and be like, hey, what? I'm going to take you to the end because I can beat you. He's like, oh, okay. She'll be okay with that, right? A little drunk, but it's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at this guy.
What do I know? You think I was spending a lot of time at strip clubs?
I mean, were you?
No.
Okay. No, I'm trying to assume. Rob,
People are
these
like,
are very
don't
good
get
pictures
twisted
of
that
you.
I'm a more interesting person than I actually am. I was living in my parents' basement during this time.
I know a lot
Okay.
of people living in their basement who making time for the strip club. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
That. Yeah.
Okay.
Rob
Keep
becomes
going.
our third addition to the All Horn team, and I will say, after seeing this,
I am scared to know
Sir?
who else is on the all horn team.
I
Is
need
it-
to
now-
know who's on the team. Are
Now,
you
is
crazy?
the all horn team like I
Mount
haven't
Rushmore?
watched the rest of Tony's work. I don't know. Is he cataloging who's horny, or is this like a devil sort of like is that what he's saying?
Oh no. I think this is the horny team. This is the.
I don't even want to know who else is on the all
I
horny
want to
team.
know. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we can figure it out. This is you weren't that far into Survivor by then. I'm sure there was a few that we could have come up with. Matter of fact, we don't want to talk about them.
Listen, he better not have been. He just watched Thailand.
All right,
okay?
that's what I'm about to say. Listen, I could put number. Look, okay, that man is. Never mind. Jail. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, worry about yourself, Tony. Who's getting
Right.
canceled now? Okay.
Right. Dear God.
All right.
this cast, I get it.
We don't have these older women judging us, telling us what we should and shouldn't be doing. I'll tell you what, Papa.
This was a fantastic season of Survivor. Heidi and Jenna being two of the absolute highlights. And let me tell you, Hugh Hefner knocked it out of the park. But jokes aside, there were so many
And why is he allowed to make a joke and I can't
Right.
joke?
Yeah, Tony. Boo. He's a little horny, Tony.
fun characters, strong personalities, and stronger players. And so full of lust. I loved almost
Yeah, what
every
was going on here with Alex and Shauna and Matthew? 3 tickets to Challengers, please.
Oh, yeah. I think Matthew would have probably been okay with that, but Alex was not having it.
Mhm.
I was like, no, thank you.
one. Except you, Roger.
You like to see
Ah!
guys out in the street?
R.I.P. Come on, Tony. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. So look, all in
Man.
good fun. That I appreciate what you had to say about my game as a player of Survivor.
Oh, okay.
But
I was
yeah,
about to say,
that
your
my
game.
wife got that first. I don't know what her algorithm is.
Yeah. Well, you know, her algorithm is things that can make me mad at Rob. You know,
Is that what she's like? Look,
Yeah.
So the algorithm is so smart. It knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about today. The Amazon.
Yeah.
You're like, again. It's been 20.
Yes.
See, it's been 20 years. She's like, yeah, but I got time.
Did you hear my story about I showed to my kids that when I won the immunity challenge?
No, you.
Oh,
I've been waiting for you.
I've told it on a couple other podcasts, but I'll say so my kids were like, "Dad, can you show us when did you ever win immunity?" I'm like, sit down, kids. I've been
Yeah,
waiting your whole
gather
lives for
round.
this moment." And I put it on, and it's a question challenge, and they're like, "Wait, it's questions. And like, that's not Survivor. This is Big Brother.
Wow.
Said, how dare you? How dare you? Watch. And they asked the question, like, first question is like, who here uses sex as a weapon? And they're like, oh, Dad, why are they saying this? Why are they being like that? And I'm like, all right, I'm like, okay, that's just one question. They're like, who here do you have a crush on? And then like,
and you're like, but I what?
Like, which player would you most like to see pose nude in a magazine? And they were like, why is it like this? And then I won. They're like, I'm like, what? You see, I won. They're like, you didn't even do anything. One guy put himself down for every answer.
He did. Yeah, that's. I mean, interesting
and also,
times.
And Nicole was so pissed, so mad.
She was mad. Why? It's too soon. It's still too soon.
Too soon. Doesn't like hearing this talk about girls getting naked in a magazine.
Survivor used to be risque. Who knew? I
Didn't like
watched
it.
that season.
Didn't like it.
I wish my mom cared about me back when I was that age. Did you like watch whatever you want? I don't care. Maybe it's for the best. You should have showed them the challenge where you were like, "I'm going to swim," and it was like, "No, I'm not going to swim." You got in the boat. Yeah, that's my favorite Rob.
Yeah, want to see Nona on TV? Okay, all right. Let's bring in then. We've got. So one last thing planned here for our Survivor 48 coverage. And Brandon Donlin, are you coming on for this?
BD.
Let me know in the chat.
Oh, I most certainly can. Sure, certainly.
Yes, okay. All right, so here's Brandon Donlin. Happy Memorial Day to you, Brandon Donlin.
Hey, I wasn't laying down.
Okay.
Nobody asked if I was laying down. I wasn't.
You definitely
All right.
were not.
Here we go. Do you know who was on the all horn team? Are you tracking that?
I looked. We don't scratch it.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You're my favorite member of the all horn team by a lot.
Yeah. Were we right?
It looked like you were right on one, certainly.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I
definitely
didn't see
one.
the first one. I'm curious who the first one
Okay.
was. But,
Okay.
We'll get there.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. So tell me about what we're going to do here. We remember.
So it's Memorial Day, and I figured, Survivor 50 coming up. It's a chance to kind of reinvent, bring some things back to the franchise that we haven't seen in a minute. So I have just a couple things that have been missing from Survivor for 20 plus seasons, some 20 plus years.
Some of these things I'm assuming were not on the voted for, but will they come back for Survivor 50 as we have our memorial to things that are no longer with us from the game of the Survivor? Okay.
Number one, I was thinking last night about this in particular and how cool this would be to do on season 50. This is the schoolyard pick.
Schoolyard pick. Will that ever be back? I don't think it'll be back for Survivor 50. I feel like that in some of these other seasons, like who cares? Like let them pick their three tribes. Like it's not like they do such a great job anyway of like did you see the Vula tribe this season? Like they always have a disaster tribe anyway. Let them pick who's going to be on their tribes when they're strangers. But Chappell, for a returning player season, should they do a schoolyard pick?
Hell yeah. Why not? What's the worst that can happen?
You know what? What's interesting about it is that you say, okay, my first thought is like, all right, but all the pregame alliances are going to be what, but the fact that then everybody would have to then say, you know what? No particular reason. I'm just picking this person. We don't have a thing. Like that might be like people will get their minds racing of like, why did he just pick Misty Giles? They must be working together.
It's like, okay, I need somebody who's good in the challenges, but for no other reason, I'm gonna pick Sandra Diaz Twine. It's like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah, it's like, yeah, she's got she's good at she does things good in challenges.
So Brandon, I say no to schoolyard pick for Survivor 50, but I do think in a normal vanilla 18-person 3-tribe new era season, who cares?
Why not? What's interesting is thinking back, and correct me if I'm incorrect here, but I think season 23, South Pacific, Coach and Ozzy, they grab the eggs that have their tribe colors.
They smash
and they smash. That's the last time there was any variance in terms of which tribe somebody ends up on that I wasn't producer set. And it's just crazy that was now 15 years ago almost. We haven't had something like that.
Yeah.
Since, so why
Yeah,
not?
let them do it. Who cares?
Who cares?
And they came into the merge at equal numbers, I believe, like damn near. Like it was pretty much like, you know, they were hoping for the Cochran flip to kind of, you know, to do the things. And so, yeah, that's crazy. They came to a rock draw on that season, essentially. Yeah. So, yeah, it can be done. Also, bring back these outfits. Mm-hmm. Why are they dressed like this? It is so funny to know that, like, if you show somebody that and say, what show is this? Nobody would say Survivor. Okay. Nobody.
All right.
You know, GC in that huge ass green polo shirt, that Rockaware shirt.
I cite this as this is my first ever episode of Survivor, episode 1 of Gabon, that I watched live that night. And I think something about the aesthetic and the outfits is why I kept going.
It was also the first season in HD. Were you watching in HD?
No, I was watching on a tube TV.
Okay.
In the Donlin family basement.
That GC green shirt really popped in the HD, though.
Never been greener.
That's what they say.
Bring GC back for 50. I stand on that.
Okay. All right.
On the list.
All right. Touchy subjects. Oh, the very challenge that I won my individual immunity on. It has been retired since season 29, when in San Juan del Sur, Jeff said, why don't you just pick who the winner is going to be? So I guess there's a concern that they could gamify it too much. I do think that Survivor has very much moved away from anything that could hurt a person's feelings, where I think it was a big part of the show way back then. So, Chappell, should touchy subjects come back? Could this be the next thing, like the auction, that makes a return back to Survivor?
Sure, why not? The Survivor gets a little kumbaya these days. You know, all the people. Look, I'm not gonna lay the blame on anybody on this actual podcast with you and I, Rob. But sometimes the Survivors they're really close knit. They love each other. They hang out. They're all good friends with Brandon Donlin. And so yeah, this could definitely draw some lines in the sand. They're gonna start saying things about each other that maybe they just been thinking really hard.
Mm-hmm.
We got together as a cast, season 45, after the season. We got together in August. They filmed it in April. And we did like a live reality game that I was Jeff, and we had challenges. We did touchy subjects, and all the questions were positive. And I now, in the 2 years now since then, with Time to Breathe, we should have just been out for blood. I think it's funnier to be out for blood. So I hope they do it, and I hope they're out for blood.
And I get it why you in your friend group don't want to do a very mean, touchy subjects. But if you're people who are making reality TV, like not the worst thing in the world to like do something that creates some conflict.
Sure.
So, and lots of conflict did come from this challenge over the years. I hope and I pray, I say, please bring it back. I would be surprised if they ever did.
Why is everybody wearing ponchos? What was going on?
I think that there was a challenge where one of the rewards, I think that Boston Rob got to give 4 people ponchos.
I have no memory of that. Is that real?
Me neither.
I believe they got. I believe that there was some. It might have been that they got videos from home. And also Boston Rob like negotiated for like, rather than he get his video, if everybody could like drink hot cocoa and give them raincoats. It was something like that.
And they didn't vote for that man? Crazy. These people are crazy. Vote for Amber.
Yeah. Then they gave, I think all the women have raincoats.
Amber wasn't giving up no videos for home for y'all to get no ponchos. Y'all should have voted for Rob. Man, that man was robbed.
All right.
Number 3.
A fighting challenge. Okay. Last seen here in San Juan del Sur. We didn't know how good we had it when Sumo at Sea featured Jacqueline versus Wentworth. Okay. Chappell, will we ever see a fighting challenge back on Survivor?
We'll never see one as good as Baylor fighting her mom.
Yeah.
And being like, picture me. Like, I'm gonna picture you like the guys that hurt you. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. But, you know, we don't even have forget a fighting challenge. We don't even do a challenge where it's like, all right, here's Chappell taking on Misty Giles. You know, we don't even get like any challenge that's like some kind of a head-to-head type thing where they've done like they used to do in the past. Like you have like a little like tray with a statue on it, knock the other person's statue off. Yeah. That's not even like fighting. We don't do stuff like that anymore.
They did that challenge too, where they would wrestle off the pole.
Off the pole.
Oh,
That was a good
forget
one, too.
that. I mean, I don't think they would ever do that again.
You can hurt yourself.
That got physical.
Randy in that challenge is slamming Paloma, saying, "You're done." Remember that? Throwing Paloma on the ground.
Or the thing where you got to go dig up the bag and then run it back to your mat, and all I hear is Courtney Yates break his shoulder. You know, like that kind of thing. We don't do that anymore. We don't need a fighting challenge. We don't need a fighting challenge. I think that we kind of talked about it. You know, people don't. I don't want anybody getting hurt because they went out on Survivor.
Okay, I don't think we'll ever do a fighting challenge again, and maybe this is an insurance issue, but I would love to see challenges that are back to some kind of a duel, whether it's and we've seen it like in the past where like two people are on a log, can you like get the other person to fall off? Like there's things that you can do that are not, hit each other, that could be head to head, just to differentiate some of the challenges.
I think the case for this for 50 is like everybody's playing a second time. They know everybody well enough. I feel like you could do something like this and everybody would be game. Not to say that first time players would be game, but I think that now it's like an extra level of insurance that you know who you're getting.
Yeah. Insurance literally or figuratively?
Figuratively, not literally.
I also think that this is also part of that we have killed the 2-tribe format. And that I think that to do some kind of duels with 3 tribes is imminently more complicated. So that may also be a reason why that has fallen by the wayside. All right.
And there's no world where we bring back the 2-tribe format for 15.
Never say never, Chappell.
Okay, we shall see.
All right. Rites of passage. I think that they have to do this for Survivor 50. If they don't do this for Survivor 50, this is malpractice.
I think only for 50. I don't want to see this
50.
Shit. I don't 51. I don't care. The show ain't long enough for us to miss these people.
Honestly, they could have fit Rites of Passage in on Wednesday night. We could have done a Rites of it, like, remember Stephanie?
They're like, no,
the whole new era on Wednesday night. Run it back for everybody.
Yeah,
remember everybody.
40? Does 40 have a Rites of Passage?
No, because everybody was on the
nobody
edge.
was eliminated.
So Jeff sort of did like a round table with everybody, but they should do it for 50.
They did it for 40, and it's just like, remember Sandra? She's like the only one who's left. Remember Sandra? Y'all remember her?
Yeah.
They should. Okay.
Bring it back for 50 Rites of Passage. Okay. What else you got?
We've got
a normal auction. No, forget it. We're not doing a normal auction ever again. Yeah.
They're only there for 20 days. They're not even that hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the running around for the auction. I wasn't there.
Oh, they can get rid of that. They can get rid of that too. But the normal auction doesn't do. I mean, what are they gonna do? We're all waiting for an advantage. It's like, okay.
Now no advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Hold on. I'm gonna just check with Jeff
Nick
real quick to see if we might be able to. Jeff, can we get a normal auction one of these days? Is that possible, please? Like a normal auction?
Oh, is it?
I can't. I'm trying to play the Elizabeth clip, and I can't because Brandon is sharing his. I'm not doing that. Yeah,
not doing that.
Here
not
for the
that.
podcast. No. Yeah. Okay.
Not doing that.
Not doing that.
And our last thing that Jeff may do. Oh, I'm sorry.
Family visit.
Family visit.
Family visit. 26-day game. Could we get the family visit for season 50, Chappell?
Yo, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I suspect not. I don't think so.
I'm good.
I hope so, right? Because then it's dead. If it's
but
not
you know
here,
what? They brought everybody's family for season 40. I think they feel like, okay, if we can't top that, what are we doing? Like, I think they get
40.
as much drama they feel like probably out of the letters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about the same. Yeah, and then you got the sanctuary where that's a whole thing that you can do. And people's voices playing over the thing. Yeah, I don't need the family visit. I'm good. Thank you.
If you Google Survivor family visit, this image comes up, and I wish it didn't because then I had to remember what happened.
Yeah,
in this instance.
Okay.
Next,
and then Jeff doing some Tom Cruise-ish with the votes. Could that happen for season 50? I think, especially if we have the live finale reunion show in Los Angeles, I think that there is a healthy chance that this could happen, Chappell.
If we get a live reunion show, he has to do it. There's no. Why would you not do it? Like what's the downside? or the thing that, you know, where they like, oh, we're all wearing the same exact outfit that we were wearing on the island, and it was like, but we took a bath, you know, like they could do that.
Yeah,
they have to do it. Why not? I pray to God that we do a live finale for 50. Like, just give us something.
If the fans voted for, the fans may not have voted.
They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the fans.
The fans voted for that. How many? You think anybody liked the Survivor after show?
No.
Jeff says, "Hey Kyle, could you answer this question?" Well, I'm gonna let you finish. You eat your pizza. I'm just gonna leave you alone. I was like, "Well, Jeff, what the hell are we doing here? You're all eating pizza."
What's so funny is that I was at the Bryce and Wendell finale party for season 48 just the other day, and the after show's on, and then the Knicks game was on at the same time. So right about as they're going to play the Survivor 49 preview, which is the best part of the after show, they cut it and they switched to the Knicks game.
Yeah,
so then
which was
I had
also a sad story.
Yeah, also a sad story. So I watched it on my phone with a bunch of fans who huddled around my phone to watch the 49 preview.
Yeah,
we couldn't hear it, but we saw the glimpse of the Riz God.
Jeff said to Kyle, Kyle, so could you tell us how is it feeling? Can you tell us about that? Kyle's like,
I'm not doing that.
No, no.
You can come back to
I
me.
haven't actually felt it yet because I'm eating, and it happened 3 seconds ago.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Brandon Donlin.
So much fun.
Chappell, I was a little worried we were going to have that much to talk about today, but look at us.
We didn't even play Owen's daughter clip. Clip. But yeah, we had a lot. I think that, you know, we had a whole season to look back at, but we also have season 49 and 50 to look forward to. 49, I am concerned that 49 might be a footnote at the end.
It's going to be
because
fine.
of all this
People
stuff.
cared about Samoa. People, care. Well,
no,
people cared about Samoa.
Yeah, people cared about Samoa.
People cared about Pearl Islands.
People loved Pearl Islands. I'm people. That was a long time ago. But yeah, 49. I was afraid it might be a footnote. I think we're going to keep the energy going through 49. And then, of course, we have this week, Survivor 50 cast will be announced. And this is going to be a momentous occasion because, again, this is the first time we're going to get something so big, a season that will look at all previous seasons up till 48 and maybe 49 to cast. We'll find out who that is. And then I'm sure everybody's going to hear it. And they're going to act completely normal and rational about it, and no one is going to complain.
All right. And if any exciting news is breaking, Club Condo will be here to pick it up. Okay?
Yeah.
I give you green light for emergency Club Condo whenever necessary, Chappell.
Oh, please tag me in for that. Because right now I'm just kind of, I feel like I'm in limbo. Right? Like I'm in the waiting. I'm waiting on like the moment to happen. So then once it happens, I can jump in and do my thing.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Chappell, what else is going on for you?
Definitely check out the Nothing But Netflix podcast. Sasha and I are talking about sneaky links. It's all, the YouTube video is up on the RHAP YouTube account, and then we will be covering the entire season this week. So check that out on Nothing But Netflix and subscribe to Nothing But Netflix. Go to nothingbutpod.com to do that.
All right.
And then, recap kickback. We had Forever, the coverage of Forever on Netflix as the #1 show on Netflix, I believe. We talked about it. And so, got a lot of that stuff going on. Chantel and I are still popping the balloon for one more week. And then, who knows what's next. But I'll be here ready because I want to talk about 50. And then, of course, Big Brother is coming soon too, Rob. So hopefully a lot more Chappelle.
That's 5-6 weeks to go for Big Brother. Of course, the Slop is coming to the patron feed once again. So be on the lookout for that. On Tuesday, I will have a great podcast with a guest that I was trying to get on during the season. It did not work out with them during the season, but they are going to share some of their post-season, post-game thoughts with us, making some time for us. I appreciate it. And so I'm not sure if we've announced that, so I'm just going to say just stay tuned for a pretty good guest on Tuesday.
I'm sitting here like on the edge of my seat waiting on you to say it. And now I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Happy Memorial Day. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.